Good morning, Father Joe. How are you today?
Good morning. I have my cup of Joe here. It's really good
Wonderful.
stuff. It's Dunkin' Donuts. And then I got my copy, latest copy of the Catholic Worker. And Bob, we'd like to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, the Catholic Worker is the newspaper itself is very significant in the creation, in the beginnings of the Catholic Worker movement and Dorothy Day and Peter Maurin's work. And it's still very significant today. So tell us a little bit about the history and why it's still important.
Yeah, thank you. And it does have an intriguing history. I like to highlight, Catholic Worker, we always talk about Dorothy Day. We must never forget that the co-founder was Peter Maurin.
Yeah.
And what a gift from God he was. And the Catholic Worker would not be here without Peter Maurin. Well, here's quickly his background. He was a Frenchman. He was a Christian brother, and he left the order because they were not radical enough. That's the kind of person he was. So he migrated to Canada, and then he crossed the border illegally, and somehow he heard about Dorothy Day. I don't know how that story, but he came and sought her out in New York. And at their very first meeting, he looked at her and said, Dorothy, you are a writer. And she was. Her father was a writer, journalist. And so that was in her genes. And so he says, you got to start a newspaper. And she says, what? Oh, okay. Okay, he was so convincing. So they proceeded to gather a crew together. They went down in the bowels of the Catholic Worker in Manhattan and came out with the first edition in 1934 or 35. And then they went out in Union Square and sold the copies for 1 cent a copy.
Wow.
And and that was the start. And it has continued over these years, and it's really a marvelous publication. I like to tell people that it's done on superb content written on ratty newsprint. And some of my priest friends who I sent it to get mad at me. They say, Father Joe, the print is so small, it's hard to read. Well, that's okay. That's the way it is. And like the content is superb.
Yeah.
In fact, this morning, again, I just read a piece that they published in the last issue submitted by Martin Luther King, honoring Thich Nhat Hanh for the Nobel Peace Prize. So stuff like that. And the articles are always eminently readable. What we do here now, Bob, is when it's issued every second month, a new issue, and they've been faithful. And we get 23 copies or so. And with my help here, we send out those copies to friends. And we keep a list. We keep a list so that each month a different person gets the copy. And then we send the copy in an envelope and include a little cover letter and a short note saying, make sure you pay your penny and give the penny to a charity of your own choice. And so that always gets a little chuckle and enjoy the read. So I would like to mention that in the past, I'm not sure who the editor is right now, but Robert Ellsberg was the editor for quite a while, and the son of Daniel Ellsberg. And so I look forward to reading it and devouring, and many times reread. So I read it 2 times. It's worth that. Catholic Worker newspaper.
It's interesting. I've seen Noel and I, my beloved Noel Marshall and I, subscribe, so we get it here directly. And sometimes the authors will take on issues of Black Lives Matter or Blacks in the Catholic Church, or issues dealing with nuns and the peace movement of nuns on the bus, and just a lot of peace, social justice, thoughtful anti-denuclearization issues, history lessons. Like you said, Robert Ellsberg is kind of the historian of the Catholic Worker movement, and so he'll often have articles there. And We really, really enjoy it. There are also a number of Catholic worker houses around the country that publish their own pulp print newspaper like that, like the one in Houston and a couple of others. And then they borrow articles from the national publication and vice versa. So it's just a wonderful, thoughtful, conscious raising opportunity to hold the newspaper in your hand and rather than just reading things online. And still very significant today, as it always has been.
Okay, Bob, we started this a short interview with highlighting Peter Maurin. Let's finish it by again highlighting him. And because from time to time, the Catholic Worker newspaper publishes his easy essays. They are little gems, short, and they're powerful, a great read. And so they publish those from time to time, and they're worthwhile checking out. Okay, well, thank you.
Wonderful. Yep. Well, wisdom is timeless. And so whether it's out of the mouths of Babe today, or whether it's from Peter Maurin from many, many years ago, reread by those of us that need to see it in a moment, that's exactly what it is wisdom for the years, wisdom for the ages. Well, thank you very much for telling us about the Catholic Worker newspaper, and we'll look forward to chatting again next week.
Yeah, and blessings to all as we enjoy springtime. Okay.
Thank you. Peace and blessings. May peace prevail on earth.